Hello and welcome to Landwards 2020, the Institution of Agricultural Engineers annual conference, obviously in a virtual format today. This year's theme is Lean Agricultural Engineering and Resilience in the Supply Chain, and we are privileged to be joined today by Richard Halsall, Group Sales Manager from Ripon Farm Services, and Richard would like to talk to us and give us a dealer's perspective on lean and resilience. So Richard, thank you for joining us, and over to you.
Thank you, Andy, and welcome to everyone that's joined. It's actually been a few years since I addressed the conference, 2017, I think, and I talked on, back in my past life, John Deere, I think I talked on Agriculture 4.0. So the world has moved on a little bit, and we're in a slightly different situation to where we were back in 2017. I've moved on, I know, with Ripon Farm Services, a dealer group, and hopefully I can give you some insights into what we do and what maybe changed over the last few months with COVID and what's going to stick around, I think, with regards to the dealer, but also mainly focused on the lean principles piece. So at first, when Andy asked me to speak, I was a little reluctant, especially with subject matter of lean principles. I'm a sales manager. Yes, I'm an engineer by education, but I'm a sales manager now, not an engineering manager, and I sell something that other people make. But actually, when you take a higher level look at lean and the basic principles behind it, then it works for any organization, more especially actually for one that is customer facing like ours. There are many different definitions of lean, but the one that actually struck a chord with me is this one. So lean organization understands customer value and focuses its key processes to continuously increase it. The ultimate goal is to provide perfect value to the customer through a perfect value creation process that has zero waste. Now that's maybe wishful thinking. I'd like to put it into something that is a little bit more my sort of language. So we want to deliver a service to our customer that adds value to their organization whilst being efficient with our stock, our time, our resources, and it ultimately drives some revenue and profit for our business. So really we need to understand what brings value to our customers, and by delivering this, we will profit from it. Now, many studies have been done looking at what customers are looking for, what they see as value in agricultural machinery. Now, in fact, whilst I was at Deere, I was involved in a number of these. But if you look at any result or any of these results, it all boils down to just a few points. They want a reliable product backed up by great service at a price or cost of operation, really, that is acceptable to them. And I'd also add, it's available at the right time. Now, in the world of the dealer, lean should actually be something that's second nature. If you look at inventory and around the whole goods piece, the shorter the time something's in stock, the faster you can turn it. With parts, if it's on the shelf too long, all it's doing is burning money. So obviously, the faster it'll turn around, the better the profit will be. You look at the sales process, sales opportunities. Okay, the shorter that sales funnel, the least amount of steps to get to the sale, reduces the lead time to the sale, and that'll affect the costs that are absorbed by actually doing that deal, and will deliver out on the bottom line. And then for service, well, it's all about efficiency. So we want to sell as many technician hours as we can, but we also need those technicians to be efficient whilst they're doing it. So we need first-time fix on machines, and the technicians to be employed and doing the job on a reliable basis. Now, unfortunately, this is not always the case. So we've got suppliers who often have lead times up to 6 months. So we need our crystal ball many times to understand just exactly what's going to happen, what we're going to need in 6 months' time. We've got out-of-season terms, so encourage us to stock more product by tempting us by greater discounts for early order. And then you've got customers who we all value, but then maybe not the best at forward planning. and they own machines who only break down, or which only break down when they're using them. So what I want to do is really take a look at each individual piece of the process that we've got now. So inventory on whole goods and parts, sales process, and the service optimization piece, and break it down and just see what we do as Ripon, and maybe what's changed over the recent months. So let's take a look at whole goods. This is my piece really within the organisation. We're privileged to sell some of the most leading brands in the industry. So we've got John Deere, obviously. We have Kuhn, we have Bailey, we have Kramer, still on the grounds care side of it. So yeah, really, really good brands that are out there that certainly help us to sell them. Now, if we look at the inventories, we now have a sort of a monthly inventory review where we sit with the sort of senior management team. So I have Ben Mosley, who manages part of the sales operation for us. We sit together along with our whole goods admin, and we look at what's on order, what stock we've got, what's coming through, what delivery times they're on, and then really look at what needs to be ordered, what we think the sales are doing. We've had conversations with the salesmen on a daily basis, so we've got a good feel for the business. We know what's in the pipeline, and then we can look and review that inventory. And then we also have brand managers so that's individual salesmen who take ownership of their own brand. So they have the link with that manufacturer, and it sort of helps us to develop them, and also helps build that sort of relationship. They have some responsibility, some skin in the game, if you like, with those brands. Now that's probably nothing different to what many dealers do out there. I mean, it's something that you've got to do in this day and age to actually keep on top of the product. What's changed around our whole goods piece over the last few months? Those monthly stock meetings have now gone virtual. I'm talking to you over a Zoom meeting here. We've embraced the world of Teams, but actually it's saved travel. We can get things done. So I'm normally based up in the Ripon depot or Ripon head office. Ben's across in Market Wheaton. Jane, our whole goods admin, she's in Market Wheaton. We've got one of the depot managers who joins us from Darrington, so we can do those online. We still have the same discussions, but over the last few months, the lead time discussions have maybe become a little bit more pressing. We've been lucky with the brands that we actually sell. So John Deere, we had a very slight interruption to tractors, and it was only slight. We were probably a week when nothing was coming through. They got themselves organised. The line has gone into probably part or social distancing, so it's slowed the process down. So our lead times have gone out, but at least we've had product coming through. And the same goes for Kuhn. We've had some delays, but luckily for us, and that leads on to the next point there on higher stocking. We've always been probably on the higher side of our stock, and that was the reason for really delving into it on a monthly basis with our stock inventory. But we've always looked at it that you can't sell from an empty shelf, so we've got to have those things in stock. And for the season coming up, certainly the spring season, we had enough product available from outside with John Deere and with outside John Deere product to actually manage that. And we weren't hit really with longer lead times. And so for once, although my financial director may not agree, that higher stocking was actually a positive for us. We will continue now going forward. with our monthly inventory. We're still doing it on a virtual platform at the moment, but that is likely to continue going forward. And we'll just reevaluate as the stocking levels improve and the stock flow, if you like, comes through from our manufacturers. Then we can review, and we maybe be able to bring down that stocking level again. If we look at the parts side of the business, then we've got 12 stocking depots for parts. So you can imagine it's a pretty varied stock that we can actually call on. So we will tend to, obviously, in the west of the patch over in Keighley, and maybe up in Leyburn in the stock areas, they're carrying feeder parts and straw bedding parts, more so than the arable areas down in Louth and Brigg. But it gives us that variety, and it gives us the ability to be able to move it around the whole group that we have. We have a daily parts run, we have a north one and a south daily parts run, so each depot can call on the stock that others have. It's all visible on IBCOS on the system, so that it's free stock for all to manage. Now, obviously, that's part of it. That's great. So that's when we've got something in stock. What about stuff coming in? Then we use, obviously we're on the John Deere system, so dealer parts management system allows us to see the stock that's available, not just within our own group, but also within other dealer groups, whatever's available in Langer at the UK office, but also on what's available within Mannheim, in Bruxelles, and even over into the States. So we can see what's available. The dealer parts management system gives us a recommended stock also, and allows us to do some stock analysis. Tim, our group parts manager, is the lead on that, and we can really do some good things to make sure that we've got parts available at all times. We have online partners there, so John Deere, obviously, with my John Deere system on JD Parts, but also Cramp. Cramp's come into its own just in recent months with the online business. So our online business and direct shipment to customers has grown, well, hugely over the last few months. The guys have had to put new processes into the parts depots, into the showrooms and the parts counters. So socially distancing, obviously, limiting the number of people within the depots. Initially, all the depots were closed, and then gradually over time, monitoring sort of COVID numbers, then we've started to open up some of the showrooms and get access to the counters, but very, very limited, and obviously with the mask within the showroom areas. You see on there, so the new processes that the guys have had to take on board. Online business has certainly increased, direct delivery there. The showroom restrictions, as I say, are continuing, and the one thing that Tim is monitoring and has been monitoring right through is the fill rates. So again, from Deere and other manufacturers, it's how fast we can get those parts to our customers, and if we haven't got it on the shelf, how fast can we get it to them? Now, I thought what I might do is just share with you a little bit from Sam, one of our parts managers. So hopefully the technology will work and allow us to just see a bit behind the scenes of what's happening within one of our depots.
We, as a matter of housekeeping, always clean down the counters and surfaces within the stores, card machines with hygienic washes at all times during the day, including all handles coming in and out of the building. All our staff now wear gloves permanently. The main point is that we want our customers to feel safe when they get parts off us, so we've restricted access within the showroom to one person at a time, for safety. Smaller depots, because of the size, they have basically locked doors and they're leaving parts outside the doors.
There's Ron Pete, I'm just leaving there for you. If you take Martin truck.
Because Market Wheaton is one of the bigger depots, we've got room to allow customers to come into the showroom up to a certain point where we serve them, we can talk to them at a safe distance, 2 metres apart. In fact, it's a bigger distance than that. Most people will come in and collect the parts within the showroom. If for their own safety, if they want them to collect them from outside the showroom, we're quite willing to do that and we'll leave them in a safe place for the customer's peace of mind, really. We would like our customers to know, in spite of the situation, that we can still deliver parts onto the farm at a pre-arranged time with the customer. John Deere's are still working at full capacity, both in Europe and in England, to supply us with parts.
John Deere parts operations, we're pretty much managing to keep everything running as normal. Overnight parts deliveries are working. Parts coming from our operation in Germany when we haven't got them in the warehouse in Nottinghamshire. So that's running smoothly. And then, of course, the replenishment parts to stock up your inventory, that's all running smoothly too.
We as a
slight interruption in what we've done. Let's see if we can get there we go. So that was Sam just giving us an overview on the parts side of it. What about my piece of the business on the sales side? Well, we've got 25 sales professionals out there, everyone obviously with an allocated area. I think one of the main points, and if you bring it back to what really drives sort of value for the customer, is making sure that we qualify that customer early on in the process. So that qualification, if we can shorten that sales funnel down by making sure we've got the right product initially, then that's going to help us right through the whole process and make sure that we do come out quicker at the other end. One of the challenges that we have, and it's a challenge, we're not on our own with this, is keeping the knowledge of the sales team up to where the products are going, so that the technology is changing. You get new products. The wide variety of products that we have, so not just on John Deere, but across the whole brands that we have. And that's the reason partly for having our sort of our brand champions, so that if they need something, they can't get hold of the manufacturer sales person, then generally there is someone with a slightly deeper knowledge within the sales organization of ourselves to sort of impart that knowledge. We also have a number of product specialists within the group who are, some are salespeople, some are within our farm site team, so the demonstrators. But yeah, they focus on certain products, the balers, combines, forage harvesters. So the sales guys will bring them in to help them with the deal. Mentioned the farm site team. So their responsibilities around initial demonstrations. So along with that sort of qualification, once we've qualified the customer, they want to do a demo, and those guys will go out, set up the machine with them, do the demo, and make sure it's optimized and does the job correctly. Once we've done the deal, and I say that the sales process, I'd like to think that the sales process finishes when we do the deal, but actually to me it actually only begins there, because it's a whole cycle. Once we've done the deal, we've got to deliver it. We've got to make sure that product is set up correctly, it's installed correctly, and then when the guy's using it, it's optimized to its best. So he's getting the best out of it. He's doing the lowest fuel consumption it can do. He's getting the best work rate out of it that they can. And that's where our farm site team is key to delivering value to the customer. And you've got to drive it back to, if we don't do this, then the customer's not getting best value out of it, and he's not going to be 100% satisfied with his product, and he's not going to give us chance next time when it comes for renewing. Now on the sales side, many things have changed. over the last few months, even down to salesmen who were maybe technology averse, coming through to pure electronic order forms. Even some of the guys that have still can't get hold of the electronic order form are actually sending PDFs of their written out orders through to sales admin. So the electronic age is definitely with them, and certainly has improved over the last few months. Top of the list there is admin. Well, right at the start, within maybe a week of the announcement, we'd got the whole admin team out of the depots working from home. So if they hadn't got laptops, then they took the desktops home with them. They were set up with scanners, so everything could be done remotely. They could scan things on, they could process it, they could invoice, and still we've got some of the admin team who are actually more productive now from home and are only coming into the depots as required, and that's something that may stick around for quite a bit longer. Sales calls. Well, obviously, you've got to qualify the customer, you've got to make appointments, and you've got to visit. Well, have you? The sales call now, and certainly right at the start of the pandemic, everything went virtual. Salesman had a list of his customers. He knows who's got on his territory, and the old rule of we're only dealing with probably 20% of them stacks up. So they were all tasked with going out and actually contacting everyone on their list, and it's amazing some of the responses that the guys have had. And I think that virtual certainly contact will be carried on across the whole teams. The sales calls themselves, we were still actually being invited onto farm. In some instances, some people didn't want us there, and some people still don't want us there. So that's fine. You can do everything virtually. You can even appraise a machine if your customer's happy to send you the video, send you the pictures of it. Then we can get at least some sort of machine appraisal done virtually. But really, business has carried on. As long as we're doing by invitation, then that's been fine. New equipment. What do I mean by that? Well, it used to be a salesman. His tools were his phone, his laptop, and his pickup truck. I didn't think at the start of the year that his equipment would be hand sanitizer, a mask, and gloves, along with mastering all the technology around Teams and Zoom meetings. The demo regime, that's quite interesting. We pulled all demos right at the start, but actually we found that people still wanted to see machines. So as and when we were invited onto farm, we would go, our demo team would make sure the machines are cleaned down, wiped down, do a handover, a walk around, and then by using some of the remote display access, some of the technology, the telematics that we've got installed on the tractors now, then they could do a virtual handover and get the guys working in the field with only just a single person in the cab, but being able to see exactly what they're doing, what settings are on the screen on the tractor. Also, we had booked some large ag days, so we wanted to promote the new 8RX. Obviously, you can't get multiple people in the field, but what we have done, and I think what we will take forward from this, we've now started a system where the guys will take bookings. So we've got land, so we had 50 acres of land for one demo day. We took bookings on an hourly slot. Customers came, they had the walk around. Demo guys did the virtual handover. They used the machine in the field, came back, it was wiped down, ready for the next customer coming through. And actually what we found, we could get through a lot more and better quality demonstrations in the day than actually just having the tractor and moving it around. We were cutting that road time down. And I say the customer acceptance of all this sort of technology has certainly grown in the last few months, and it's something that will definitely continue. And I think I've just got a couple of videos now to share with you just how the demo guys have been coping, and a little bit about the remote display access and some of the optimization features that the guys have been using over the last few months.
It's not a problem getting out there looking at things, so if people need it, we are there to do it.
Right, this is just our 750A drill. So we're just servicing it up now, ready for a demonstration. It's going up to North Allerton today. We've got the ability to take this drill out. It's got the JD Link system running on it, so we can remote display that tractor from the headland. We don't have to actually have contact with the farmer in the machine, so we can set it up, leave him with it, and actually see what he's doing from the headland, which is a really good feature. The customers obviously had a real poor season, and the window of opportunity to get crop into the ground and actually see this machine working is shrinking. We need to keep doing the demonstration, otherwise it'll be another 12 months before they even see this machine. So we just have to persevere a little bit and carry on and help them out. We've got a lorry coming at 10 o'clock to pick it up. I will follow up with my vehicle. So
that was Ian, our demo. One of our demonstrators within the farm site team, and then just the second one here, just want to share with you something that was done over not far from Tadcaster right earlier on.
With the technology we have now, I can see his screen and talking through his screen while he's on the move as well, so we're not stopping them, and everybody's happy with keeping going as much as we can. Shorten your track spacing a little bit. Yeah, then when you get to the end and turn around, re-centre line it, and you'll be fine then.
This spring, we've recently had John Deere rate controls put on both our potato planters. This has dramatically reduced the time taken in field of mapping out headlands and doing internal boundaries. This has also helped to reduce input costs on the farm because we're not wasting seed, fertiliser and chemicals, dramatically reducing costs.
Okay, so just a little insight as to what's happened on the sales side. And then we come back to the service, and we talked about everything being around efficiency for our service teams. So the service guys, obviously, it's the largest team within the whole dealer group. 12 outlets, just around 90 technicians out there, and we couldn't run as we are without using the advanced tools that we've got. In the last couple of years, we've taken on the IBCOS service app, and that has allowed us really to go paperless in all the workshops. So the guys can scan onto a job, they're recording their time down to the minute on their mobile devices. The service app's linked to our scheduler. So it enables all service managers to have access to that, and they can see where it's busy, so they can call on technicians across the group. So it allows us to share technicians between depots, something that was not really able to do before. If we talk about efficiencies, it's cut down on a huge amount of admin. Instead of having 4 steps previously on the invoicing process for service jobs, workshop jobs, there's now only a couple of steps. So the technician inputs it on the mobile device. They're not spending half an hour writing out the time cards. So the job sheet is in effect on the mobile device. It's sent directly to the service admin, where it's checked, processed, goes through to the service manager for a final check, and then it's invoiced. What it's done, it's brought forward our invoicing or days to invoice probably by about 10 days across the whole business, which has made a huge difference to the output. So it improves the communication between the depots with using the scheduler. And then the other piece around the technology is the telematics, the remote diagnostics, the expert alerts, and the optimization. So what does that mean? Well, the remote diagnostic piece, so there's many of the machines that we can get, all our premium spec machines, be it tractors, forage harvesters, combines, are connected. We've got circa around about 1,000, maybe just over 1,000 machines now actually on our connected database, sharing data with us to allow us to do these remote diagnostics. We can do remote display access, as the guys have said on the demonstration, so we can actually see what's happening on the screen. But we can dig deeper. We can see the alerts that are in the tractors or on the machines and get those expert alerts coming forward. So what's an expert alert? Well, that's actually looking into using various algorithms to give us a prognosis of when something may fail. So it's using a machine knowledge center that's built up over years within Deere, and the likelihood it sees various pressures or temperatures, and the likelihood that something will fail. That's sent through. The guys see it actually on their machine dashboard. Within the service managers, or service managers have access to that. That comes up. An expert alert would pop up either on the screen or on the mobile phone, and it allows us then to make a diagnosis of that, or we can dial into the tractor, into the machine, and get a further diagnosis before the technician sets out on their to go to actually travel to it. It allows us then to also to optimize the machines as they're running in the field. So the ability to do this, we've always had it. So we've had it for the last probably 5 years, but it's increasing all the time. And if you really look at what's happened over the last few months, then the use of those telematics has become even more important. So we can keep guys off the farm longer. They don't have to have the contact with the operator. We can dial into the machine, and you can really see the value of that telematics package. Not just on John Deere, but also on our Kramer products now. We've got a similar set of telematics. We haven't got the expert alerts coming through on there, but we can see the diagnostic codes that are coming up. The other challenge around service is around the whole staffing piece. As you can imagine, it's the largest group within the dealer group, the largest number of people employed. So the chances are that there's going to be the highest number of people affected. Now, we've been lucky. We haven't had many technicians off due to illness or contracting. What we have done is made sure that the apprentices, what we couldn't have is the apprentices working closely with a senior technician. So they were furloughed originally, and now they're back and working with the mentors as before, but obviously keeping just to that single mentor they're assigned to them, and keeping that there. So that's on the service side. So the main piece is around using the tools that we have. So the remote diagnostics, the dialing into the machines, and making sure that we're pre-prepared before we actually go out on farm. I think I should have another video if you want to share, just with Ben, our service manager at Market Wheaton, just to explain how things have been happening. Oh, we can get Ben to work.
We want our customers to make sure that they feel safe and they're happy to have us on site. So some of the precautions we're taking are that the technicians, they carry disinfectants and hand sanitizers, and all customers' machines are thoroughly cleaned before we leave to ensure that the customers can carry on to work safely. So given the circumstances at the minute, we're using the telematics where possible, just to make sure that we can limit the points of contact that I have to have with technicians, whether it be dialing in with diagnosis over laptops that the technicians have, or finding out where a machine is specifically. I don't have to contact the technician. Some jobs are necessary that have to come into the depot. They're just not safe on site, at which point we have strict guidelines that we follow to ensure that everything is done safely and efficiently.
So thank you, Ben. So that sums up where we are with the service side of the business. So really, I wanted to finish with a summary, and maybe it's a lessons learned, but if you go back to the whole lean principles, what I've learned certainly in the last few months and in the last couple of years being within the dealership is that don't be afraid to question what you do. There's always something that you can change. There's always something that can be improved. It's a never ending, I think. We will never get to that perfect pinnacle of purity, if you like, with lean principles. So don't be afraid to question what you do. We'll continue to do that. Do the simple things well. Make sure you follow up with customers. I can't sort of impress on my guys enough that if they follow up with the customer, they ask the right questions, then we'll get the right end solution for them. But we'll also do it in a way that delivers value for both customer and for us as a dealer. Digitalization is here to stay. I think it's fair to say that over the last few months, this has really come to the fore. Everyone's talking about it, whichever business you're in. I think we're lucky that we're in agriculture. I go back to what I presented in 2017 with Deere Agriculture 4.0. Well, I think it's here. We're using the data. And it's certainly adding value both to our business, but it's also adding value to customers' business. And as I say, that digitalization is here to stay, so we need to embrace it. We need to embrace that technology, use it to its best ability, whether it be for yield monitoring, whether it be for looking at how machines are performing, optimizing them, comparing what they're doing in the field. We've really got to embrace that technology and the whole business, from the parts guys to the salesmen to the technicians. Have really got to embrace this, and I think that purely on the technology piece will help us drive that value and improve our efficiencies over time. So that's my summary on lean. What I want to do is just leave you with a few words from some of the team, actually. Some of the guys you've seen already in the video. Tom Jobling, our group service manager, you haven't, but it's something that we put together on a sort of what we were doing for COVID, and this message went out to customers, and I just want to share this with you.
Our farming customers, dedicated staff and suppliers are the reason our supermarkets are stocked and there is food on our tables.
We want you all to know that you are valued and that your sacrifices are greatly appreciated.
Agriculture is fundamentally the most important industry in the UK. Undervalued, yet invaluable.
As a society, we see the need for farming, but the vast majority pay little attention.
Thank you, and stay safe.
So thank you. Hopefully I've given you an insight into our business, what we've done over the last few months, what we've maybe changed, what we're going to stick with. I'm sure it maybe prompted some questions, but I'll be happy to answer. If there's anything more that you need, then certainly come back to me. So I'll hand you back over to Andy, and yeah, thank you once again.
Richard, thank you very much. That was a fantastic insight into how you have responded and how the business moved on in the last few months. I've got a page full of questions scribbled here, but you'd be delighted to know I'm going to hold them all back. One thing I just was curious about was how have your customers responded or adjusted? I'm not sure which is the right word. How have they responded to the changes you've put in place?
Very, very, very well, and they understand. Or the majority of them understand that we're in a different situation, just with the COVID piece, but also over maybe changes we've done prior to that, trying to get the guys to introduce the technology to them, to talk to them on a different level. They're sort of not just talking about the green and yellow or the orange piece of kit. They're trying to get an understanding of their business, and I think it's paying dividends now that the team on the ground, be it the sales, be it the technicians, that it shows they've got an interest in the customer's business, and they're repaying that with the loyalty. So they have had to make some changes with how they've come in, how they're collecting parts, but they understand it. They know what's going on out there, and we've had very, very little issue with anyone complaining, if you like, or causing a. And no one's caused a scene outside a depot anyway, wanting to knock the door down and get in. And you look at the online business that we've done, direct deliveries, that'll stay. Those parts guys will definitely see a change, I think, with people coming into the depots. So that people, once they're used to dealing online, you do it on a daily basis with you in your private life. You Amazon, you see the Amazon warehouses going up over the country. It'll be no different. We've got to adapt to that, and it's something that we'll keep changing as we go down the road.
Yeah. No, well, like I say, I think it's a new normal. You did very well to restrain yourself from using that phrase throughout your presentation, Richard. So full marks. But it is a new normal, and we're adopting new practices and moving into a whole new way of work now. And I think it's just going to become how it is because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I say, thank you very much for your input today, Richard. Just for the benefit of anyone who's taking part and listening to this presentation now, on Wednesday, the 4th of November, there will be a live Zoom Q&A with all of the panelists, Richard included. So if you've seen this and you've got a burning question and you can hold it for them, that'll be fantastic. So the link will be via the institution's website, iagri.org, and that is on Wednesday, the 4th of November. So from myself, Andy Newbold, and from Richard Halsall, Richard, thank you very much for all your help, and we'll look forward to catching up with everybody soon.